Take two. Yes, Archie's now in the washing machine to keep him quiet. Joking, joking. I do not put my pop in the washing machine. But today he's almost there. Right. You might bark again in a minute. Take two anyway. Tubesters, welcome to another one of Gav's videos. Today we've got an update on the Vietnam War bust of the United States Marine Corps. This is going all over the place, isn't it? Never mind. It was a lot better than the first one. Yeah, you know, it's my dedication to the United States Marine Corps who fell in the hill fights, or other known as Battle of the Hills, for the hills, which are the hills around Khe Sanh before the main siege. There was some vicious fighting up there, and a lot of good lads lost their lives. So I like to pick themes, doing stuff, and I'd only, if you're wondering why I've done that dedication rather than just say Marine Corps Vietnam, I watch a lot of Vietnam veterans, a lot of local areas in the States put up videos of, because Vietnam veterans are getting older now, and they're trying to get people's recollections of whatever their service was, sea, air and land, and I often put some of those on, and as I said, in particular I often follow the I Corps area in the Vietnam War, just because it was, you know, I just picked one. I mean, I obviously read up and watch other parts of the Vietnam as well, but I decided to pick one a few years ago, one area particularly, and I chose I Corps area, and that follows not obviously just the Marine units, but Army, Air Force, whatever, but you know, whoever's operating in the I Corps area. Yeah, I'd seen a veteran was given his recollections. He'd been in the hill fights, and some of the things he was saying, you know, it was. I just thought, you know, it's I follow the Battle of Hue a lot, but that's really well known. Where the hill fights, unless you're into the Vietnam War, I don't mean that casually, but you know, if you've got an interest in that, you might know about it. But if you don't, it's not something people remember. Khe Sanh. There's not many people that if you're into military subjects, don't know the siege of Khe Sanh, but the vicious fighting that went around it, and there was obviously other units involved as well. But this happens to be a Marine Corps figure, so that's why this is being dedicated to the Marine Corps that fell in the Battle of the Hills. So yeah, it's the sculpt itself. It's okay. I'm enjoying painting it, which is the main thing. I probably haven't done yet again a great filling job. I never seem to be able to. I wish they'd have made a lot of the, I'd say, top end sculpts, but they'll normally sink the arms. If it's a t-shirt, say, they'll sink the arm and make the cut in the, I don't know how they do it, but just in the t-shirt, you know, so you hide the line, different things like that. So you'll have to bear with my filling. I've done the best I can. It was a subject that drew me to you know, I was looking for particularly for a Vietnam bust, and I didn't want to do that. Several of the companies do, like Charlie Sheen from Platoon and all those I can't remember all the characters, but they do all that type of stuff, and that didn't really interest me. I prefer, you know, a bust of, if I say real people, but you know what I mean, I prefer that type of thing rather than you know, copying the film stars. Yes, I know I've got Russell Crowe, Lucky Jack as my thumbnail, but that was the very first one I ever did. So yeah, anyway, I'm waffling. Let's go down and take a look. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench, as I always say. We're just looking at pouches, I'm afraid, and a very small part of the combat body armour, or the flak jacket as it was known, but more modern terms we tend to call them CBA, or it was 20 years, probably almost 30 years these days, when I was in. But yeah, I actually did wear this. I believe I wore this in Northern Ireland, this particular model. I might be wrong. or if not this model, not one very similar. And then we had a thinner one for doing less arduous work, if that makes less plates involved to carry. Let's put it that way. Right, let's have a look at the work we've done so far. I'm going, as you can tell, now this is practice, well not practice work, I was just seeing what colours I wanted. I decided I wasn't going to go for a green body armour, I was going to go for the, I don't even know what colour it's supposed to be, because I've seen them that have almost, I wouldn't say been bleached white, but the sun's really taken the colours out of them. I've seen them a lot more dingy, a lot like this colour. This is actually a base of tan, and then working up with it's actually wood colour. As I say, don't ever buy into you have to have a bottle of paint that has got a particular name on it. So this is, I believe this is new wood or base wood or something from AK as the mid-tones. I deliberately go in and put some dark colours in. Obviously I've got some pre-shading in there as well, but I go in with some dark colours. I then go in with a mid-tone, well sorry, I put a highlight on, then a mid-tone, then I go in and start putting some texture. Where are we? So I want to, come on, where's this? Right, there we go. I put some texture, start putting some texture on the high points. You can put them in the more shadow areas, but to be honest, you wouldn't really see those textures in the darker areas. So the mid-tones and the high points, I start putting some texture in, and then I start glazing in colours, usually sometimes the same colour. I've also used some of my favourite rubber black, heavily diluted into a glaze, as well into the deepest shadow areas. As you can see here, very much way behind this section here. Again, I just wanted to have an area that I could get an idea of what it looked like, and I was doing this late last night, so I didn't get a great amount done. Obviously there's no mud marks and everything on it yet, but yeah, that's roughly the colour that the overall flak jacket, let me just go back a second, the overall flak jacket, I'm using every word under the sun here, aren't I? Flak jacket, body armour, CBA, you choose. Bulletproof jacket, they never really are, not very often. So that's a big surface area to do all, you know, you could say, well, I'll put all the darkest colours all over. I find it's easier to work in one section when you've got an overall colour like that, and I dry it off with a hairdryer, and that will be brought up to how I want to finish it, apart from the staining on as I've done on the pouches. I want to show this guy, really, he's been on his belt, like this guy was explaining, you know, they were on the belt buckles and he still had a friend shot between the eyes right next to him. You know, it's vicious combat, as we can see in Ukraine at the moment, and you know, a lot of the John Wayne type films, who never actually saw combat himself, you know, you'll see them and they're all standing up and lobbing grenades and all. Well, a lot of it is like this guy was saying, literally, as we say in the British Army, on your belt buckle. Hence the markings on, the dirt on marking around the pouches, and that will obviously be transferred onto that as well. And when you're not on your belt buckle, you're rolling over. Hence, you'll see some of the colours in a minute. So I've shown some scratches. I've used some AK do a very nice colour called rusty gold or something like that, and it's better than brass because it's already like a dark metallic gold, brass, whatever you want to call it. They call it gold, but to me it's a very nice colour for a slightly tarnished brass look. And I put, quite often the paint chips away off these belt buckles because they're metal. These are metal in places. Some are just holes because obviously they hang their pouches and stuff off them. There's little metal tags that go through them. On this one, there's a lot more holes in the brass work. So I've just had to go with what's there really. So I've tried to show some brass work around some of the holes and then tarnished them and put some verdigris around them. But they weren't really noticeable. And when I put the old gold round, you were painting round stuff that wasn't really there, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's the belt. You'll see around the jacket, this is like a strengthening piece, I take it, around the jacket. And I can't remember if Al's had that on or not. And you'll see I've only painted it last night as just in its base colour. It's not had any dark shadow areas or lights or anything on. It was just to give me an idea again of what I wanted to do next. The pouches themselves, I don't care if they're roughly different shades. I've gone for this more greeny, faded look. I've seen so many online, and it really did, you know, it depended who had the pouches before you did, where you were with the pouches. I've gone for quite heavily, I've textured them, but I've gone for heavily, you know, spatter marks on them, and just, I might even mix up a mix. I'm not really showing the bottoms areas because they're really nothing to look at, and they're quite rough underneath. But I might well still make some mud up yet to put into these, some more textured stuff. But at the moment it's staining, because your pouches do get stained quite easily. Again, just a bit of brass work in the centre there to show where the stud's worn as it's been pushed in and out. Bit of stitching. The stitching's not printed on this, so well, not printed, but you know, they've not been sculpted on. A lot of the others you will get stitching put in. These haven't, so I've been painting them in roughly as best I could. I put the United States markings on them. British Army has used an arrow for, I don't know if they still do, but they've used an arrow for centuries, but they don't put it on the front. It's usually on the back somewhere. But I'm not a great freehander, so each one's slightly different. But as I was working my way around, I started with this one, which you couldn't really see anyway, because it's covered by the butt of the blooper. But that one, you know, not exactly brilliant, is it? But this one isn't too bad, and I was deliberately going for darker shades, lighter shades, you know, where they fade in and out. Then I got better with this one, and again I wanted it fairly faded because a lot of them are. And then we got around to this one, and this wasn't too bad either. Again, heavily faded. So yeah, that's all I've got to show for you at the moment. I'll put some photographs on at the end. Not a great deal to show again at the moment. We've got the pistol. That's fairly. I've put some darker tones in there and some lighter at the top. I used a bit of graphite on the edges of the grip. Obviously, you probably know the magazine goes in there. I wanted to show this really. I'd seen a few of these colour photographs where just being in the tropics all that time, it wasn't black anymore. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that the Marine Corps doesn't look after its kit, but I don't care who you are, when you've been in the field that long, you know, trying to polish up pistol holsters, it's not going to happen, is it really? They get mildewed and everything so quick. So I wanted to go with more of a browny, scarred, stained at the ends, you know, all that type of stuff. Look, tried to put a bit of incrustation of dirt in there as well. Again, I may, when this is all done, I may go and put a bit of literally paint and talc textured together, mixed together to make a texture, and I might well put that into some deep recessed areas, just to prove the point yet again. So that's all I've got to show you. As I say, the next one's going to be, when you see the next one, we'll have all of the CBA, as I call it. That should all be painted and done, and put some staining on and things like that. Then we'll go. I'm leaving the skin tones to the end, not out of cowardice, just you just need to get a feel for this. I don't think, when I do, I don't think there's point painting your flesh there and then trying to get round everything into dark, into creviced areas and things like that, into shadow areas, you're gonna hit the flesh all the time with your paintbrush and mark it. So it's easier in something that's quite complex like this to actually paint all the flesh separately. Where I haven't done brilliantly filling, I'm hoping to put some scars in there and stuff, and there's one on his cheek there that was already in there, and I did try and polish it out a bit, but I might do a couple of facial scars where the elephant grass has scratched him. So yeah, that's it guys. As I say, a few photographs at the end, because I don't know how well the film's going to show it, but as I say, most of the paintwork on the jacket so far is almost experimental. I'm just seeing where we go with it. And the idea of the pre-shading, you can see here on his face as well. Hopefully that'll be lighter there, as if the sun's coming in from that direction, and it's darker that side. And the same with the jacket. You'll probably see some lighter areas at the top. But saying that, it's also got to be stained as well. So we'll see. Right guys, I just wanted to give you that update. As I say, really enjoying that. Mike Hintz from Mike's Military Motors. No, Miniature Motors. I keep saying Military Motors. Mike, I've seen a few, the Oiran bust, or as you call it, the geisha. It's an Oiran Mike. That's a sex worker. Geishas are entertainers. Anyway, beside the point. The Oiran bust, I've got some ideas for the face at last for that, because I was on putty and paint, and it turns out it's been quite popular since I've been away from putty and paint for a short while. A couple of busts of that have come on, and I've got some really decent ideas now what I want to do with the skin. So when this guy's done, we may see a return to the Oiran bust and see if we can get her finished off. That's that. I do believe that's it. Yeah. Oh, nothing to do with this really. I use Swan Morton scalpel blades, and I'd never thought of this until Jeff from Jeff Donahue channel, excellent model builder. He was showing how he sharpens his scalpel blades to save money. We're not saying he's cheap, but he sharpens his blades. Now I thought to myself, well, and he showed this diamond. To be honest with you, I use diamond files for cleaning my metal soldiers up, and he had a flat one which I had seen, but I'd seen this one. It's gimmicky. It's why they put it in a shape of a pen. I got no idea, and I had to super glue the end there because it was falling off. But it's a round one. Obviously, you can stick your blade in there as well if you want to, but I was using the end. I'm going to insult your ears with the noise, but that got that so sharp, that could save me a lot of money. So Jeff, thank you very much, because I get through a lot of blades, because you have to use these to clean off mould lines on metal figures as well as plastic, and obviously metal figures, it eats them up, never mind the scale model work that I do with them. So nice tip. I appreciate that. So I got this one, I don't know if it was about £7, £6, something like that, but you can get flat ones as well. I just got this one. Hey, it's gimmicky. If it's a gimmick, Gav's in, so he just goes in there when it wants. Alright then, he doesn't at the moment. But yeah, just thought, thanks Jeff, that's probably saved me a few quid, because they've gone skyrocketing, Swan Morton blades, because I buy them by the 100, something like that. So no, really appreciate that. Right guys, one other thing, resprayed bits of the motorbike that needed respraying, so hopefully I will probably be doing a bit of building. I've got the egg plane to paint properly over because I painted the cockpit, the egg plane at the same time, so I've got the egg plane to put together, rest of it put together and paint, and I've got the motorbike. I'll start sticking bits together along the chassis and the wheels and stuff like that, and then hopefully we can start spraying the green bits, so it actually starts looking like a motorbike. So you should get an update on that one as well soon. So thanks a lot guys for stopping by and taking a look. Do appreciate it. Look after yourselves. Keep making them videos, because they're always entertaining. And we'll catch each other on another video. Cheers.